Well, howdy everybody. Jason with Happy Tales. As you see, we are back kind of dealing with our water here. Kind of the same scenario we've been doing for the last couple videos. But as you see, we are going to talk about our softener today. And today we actually have to reload our softener. And what does that entail and how to do it? So this process is fairly time consuming. It does take quite a bit of time. Not to worry, we're not going to kill you with the whole boring process. We're just going to kind of show you the steps to go through. So we do use a softener, and the reason we do is to help protect basically all of our plumbing and our faucets and everything. It's so delicate and so sensitive to the minerals. So we bought the on-the-go. I'm just kind of showing you this little cheat sheet that they gave us because it does have a capacity example of how long you're going to last with your softener, and that all depends on these little test strips that they give you. And you'll notice that on this test strip here we have a couple different gauges here. The color is our hardness, but we're worried about this GTG, and what that is grains per gallon. Excuse me, GPG, grains per gallon. And that's going to come into play because that's how you factor how long that your softener is going to last. Now, our softener is kind of the big bulky guy. It is the double. And so what we'll do is we'll take one of these test strips and we'll go to the water source before the softener. And let me just pull one out. They're just really simple. We'll take a water sample, we'll put this in there for 3 seconds without swishing it around or anything, and then we'll compare it to what we're at. So what we're at here is we are probably right around an 8 or a 9. Now what we'll do is on this little reference that they have is we'll take this 16,000 and we'll divide that by, let's just do 10 because it's easy math, right? So then we're going to be at 1,600 gallons is basically what that will run before we have to cycle that through. As the water is harder, it obviously lasts less gallons will come through. As the water is softer, the longer your softener will work. Kind of pretty simple to figure out, right? So without blah blah blah, let's go ahead and go over. I'll show you what we're going to do and how we recharge our softener. It's actually pretty simple. Okay. As we're putting this together, I realized one crucial important piece that we talked about. We're talking about doing our division of 16,000 to 10 or whatever your GPG was. Now what that gives you is how many gallons. And I kind of left that up in the air of what to go from there. So they say that an average full-time couple would use about 50 gallons a day. I think that is very high. We typically figure that we're probably around 25 to 30 a day. So you would take that number, 16,000 for example, divide that by 30 or 25, and that's about how many days that softener should work. Now down here we have a water meter as it just shuts off. That water meter kind of goes through its single, average, and then total, and you can change that out and everything, and that's how we monitor how much water we're using, obviously, but how much we're putting into our tanks as well and stuff of that nature. So I highly recommend that. We'll put one down in the description as well. But like I said, when I was putting this video together, I noticed that I didn't touch on that. So that's kind of how that GPG and how that kind of all ties together, so that you can kind of figure out on a rough guesstimate from your hardness on how long each recharge of your softener will last. Okay, so we're back here, we're by our softener. Now I do have a couple disclaimers. We normally have a 5-gallon bucket that we keep this guy into for transport, and normally I would use the 5-gallon bucket right here right now, but because we're mooch stocking, we kind of have a little bit of an advantage. So we're just going to use one of our collapsible washing buckets, and then what we're going to do is we will use a hose to evacuate, because this process here with the double, it takes about 30 minutes to do on the refill part of it, to start washing the salt. So I don't want to have that excess water kind of trapped down here on the ground. What we're going to do is we're going to evacuate it out into the street, into the gutter. But basically what we're going to do is we will pull this guy off. You're going to get some water back. Obviously you want to turn your water off and release the pressure out of your unit. So this is our drinking hose. We'll set this guy down here. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to take this cap off. This is our fill cap, and you're going to have some water coming out of here, which is perfectly fine. That's what you want to have. Now what you're going to do, ours takes 2 of these. I think it was 26 ounces a can. So we're going to take 2 of them, and simple as this, we're just going to open it up and we're just going to pour it in here. Now, because you are pouring it into water, you will have some buildup on here. It's okay, don't fret. We're just going to kind of keep working it down. All right, as we're filling this up, we kind of in between the two, a butter knife helps immensely. I'll have Beth come over here and kind of show that there's a cone up on here, so it helps disperse that salt in there, but it still does kind of clog up because it is a tight area. Now you'll see that we're using Morton. You can use whatever you want. Key is you can use either iodized or non-iodized. It does not matter. Just basically table salt. So this is what we use for us. It works for us. And you see that there's a little water coming out. Don't worry about that. We're displacing the water in the bottom. And then I just kind of run the knife back and forth and then just continue to feel. The second one definitely is going faster than the first, because a lot of the moisture that was clogging up the first one has already been taken up with the first one. So one thing you'll want to do is you'll see there's an O-ring on the inside of here. We just use a water-based lubricant to kind of keep that nice and lubed. It helps, keeps that kind of, you don't know what you're going to end up walking across, but you just put that guy back on, snug it up. Now here's the key, and I'm just going to kind of show you as a demonstration on the water pressure that you want to have come out. At this point we are going to run this for 30 minutes. So I'm going to kind of show you real quick, then I'm going to shut it off, and then we'll hook the hose up. We'll run it for 30 minutes, then I'll show you the next step. All right, so you can see here that we have just a light little stream coming out. Now we're going to run this for 30 minutes like this. They say to have it clear the edge, but this is kind of where we have it. We have it hit just on the edge, nice low pressure so that it runs out. So we'll run it like this for 30 minutes through the hose out to the curb, and then when we come back we have to kind of run it at full blast for 6 minutes. But for right now we'll do this 30-minute flush real quick, and well, with the magic of technology, we'll see in a second. All right, so I have Beth filming the outlet of the hose just to show you, but we've rinsed it for 30 minutes, and now what we're doing is we are turning on full power, or I should say full pressure. We're actually going to kind of turn it down here because the house has about 100 psi pressure coming out of it, so we're going to try and get it around 60 psi. That would be the same thing that the house would run. So we're going to run it at this setting for about 6 minutes to just kind of finalize the flush out, and then we'll be done. All right, so we flushed it for 30 minutes, then we ran it at high pressure for 6, and now basically the only thing that's left is to pull off our flush hose, throw her down, and then hook back up to our supply line that's going to go into our camper. And that is on the go, and that is how we go through the process of flushing that out, adding new salt, and getting it back up to snuff. Is it a pain? Not really. It does take a little bit of time, but the amount that we save on future repairs and maintenance inside the coach, this little guy is well worth it. So that's the easy steps to go through. If you guys have any questions, please let us know down in the comment section. We'll throw a link for this softener down in the description as well. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, let us know. If not, we'll see you guys next week as always. And if you like videos like this, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe and hit that bell. That way you know when we release videos. Until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.